Welcome to a new update, and today we're going to look at a case where the markets have been correcting. We have not been breaking through 25k because it's such a vital resistance, which we're going to look at in this update. And that's why we are consolidating at this point. In the previous updates, I've been mentioning that consolidation is a build-up for a breakout, and I think that we are still on the edge. We are at this case in an uptrend. We have been seeing the worst. The bull market is potentially back in, and the bottom is also potentially in. So that's what we're going to discuss. And there's also another case, which is an altcoin that is doing really well at this point. And there was some news about it yesterday. But before we continue, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe beneath, check out our free trade letter, which is 3 times per week. Check out our premium platform in which you can follow trade IDs, you can follow my portfolio. A new portfolio will be launched on Monday as well, and you can get educated and way more with everything we do in crypto. I think it's one of the best communities that you could be into. My portfolio is up 11% in the first 3 weeks, so definitely check that out. When we say that there is some news at this point, we are discussing Chainlink. You can see it on the chart or on the screen. Chainlink and Coinbase, they have been saying some news that today there is some news going to be given surrounding Coinbase, and the only video we have is the date, and we've got a blue dot. And then we've got Chainlink retweeting that actual information, which resulted into the markets bouncing back strongly for Chainlink. What could it be? There's some fuss around a potential crypto coin that's going to be released by Coinbase, but probably it's going to be anything that is not as special as that, because usually when it's such a big thing, they are not going to announce it this way. I would suggest that it's going to be anything related to auditing everything that they have to do with the assets that they have, or maybe something related to Chainlink in terms of layer 1, layer 2, or DeFi. So that's why Chainlink has been pushing that, but it could be giving some more momentum towards Chainlink. And as I have been saying on this YouTube channel, there's a lot of hype taking place, there's a significant build-up for a big breakout in terms of price action for Chainlink. So I think that I said that it's a lifetime opportunity. I think it still is. The valuation is relatively low. The actual valuation of Chainlink has been going sideways for almost a year, and we have been into a bear market for almost 2 years, which is the longest one since its existence. So I think that if you're into oracles and DeFi, it's still a must-have. But today is a big day. News is coming out, and that's why Chainlink has been showing us a case that it has been moving up substantially at this point. I'm trying to get into the next chapter, which is not working. Then I'll just do it this way. There we go. When we're looking at the price action of Bitcoin at this point, it's quite simple, right? We are looking at a weekly case here where the volumes have been starting to rally significantly. So usually when you get into a period of sideways action or accumulation, the volumes start to become higher because people accumulate. What do we see on this chart? We do see on this chart is the RSI on top. We do see the price action of Bitcoin here as well, which has been resulting into a peak of 69k here, and this has been resulting into dropping towards 15.8k. We also see the volume candles, which have been going up massively. And we do see the 200-week MA, which is the blue line here. Bitcoin has not been dropping beneath the 200-week MA, but it has been dropping beneath it for the first time ever in June 2022, and it resulted into a continuation of the bear market, as we recall it correctly. And that way, what we see here as well is that at this point, FTX took place and the price of Bitcoin started to fall to 15.8k, went sideways, and then we started to overshoot and take out the liquidity here, through which we can actually conclude that there is a strong bullish divergence on a weekly candle here, assuming that we're going to continue showing strength for this, or at least have a trend switch, and most likely have a confirmation of the bottom being in. A bullish divergence means that we are having a higher low on the actual indicator, and we have a lower low on the price action, which means that there is more buy pressure at this point, and that the prices are overshooting to the downside and should actually be going higher. And that is often a trigger for a trend reversal to take place. Over here you can see a bearish divergence, which is lower highs on the indicator and higher highs on the actual price, resulting into a reversal, and we know that the price has been falling by 50% during that period. Right now we have been running towards a 200-week MA, and therefore that's being used as a reference point for people to actually start taking profits. It's also the previous high we have been establishing during the summer of 2022, and therefore you can see that prices have not been accelerating too much lately. Right now we are just in a period of consolidation before we continue with the actual run, and once we crack through 25k, it's going to result into a big breakout of the price action of Bitcoin, and most likely we are going to get into a stage where 30k is not even a bad expression of the markets. And I've been bullish on the markets since we have been acting or producing a case of the markets being around 50k, and I said the upside is way larger than the downside, and therefore you want to establish into long positions. If you're looking at the price action at this point, and I'll be looking at the daily candle, there could be an argument for a bearish divergence, but it already played out. This is not a valid bearish divergence, so I would not be pushing too much on that case. What we do see is that we are making higher lows and higher highs. So if the price of Bitcoin is going to fall back to 22k, great argument, but you really don't want to see such a sharp correction taking place or such a deep correction taking place after this push. You want to have a period of sideways action like we have seen here, and you want to see it continue rallying. And once we start to get towards this high, we most likely rally towards 30k as the ultimate next conclusion before we correct. In that case, what are the levels that you should be looking at in terms of interest or buying procedures? Well, you can also easily define that from the previous range. In this case, we have been rejecting at 23.3k, which ultimately resulted into support here. Right now we are back into that range. We could be taking the low at 23.3k and could fall towards 23k. But if we are going to get anywhere in this range, which I've been classifying previously as important as well, it is a buy opportunity, and then most likely we are going to continue the structure like we have been seeing here. If we lose the structure at 22k, that is the period where you want to start getting out of positions and expect the markets to fall back even more. That's the update for today. Make sure to check out my Twitter, where you're going to find more information about the asset that we are not been discussing today, which is Chainlink. It's showing a ton of strength. I'm going to be discussing this tomorrow in my altcoin portfolio, as it is inside my portfolio and my portfolio is back up in profit. Make sure to check out the first edition from last Friday, and I'll be back later tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe. Ciao.